and good evening or good morning, depending on where you're joining us from. And for those who will be listening to this over the recording, still welcome, and it'll be good to hear from you. All right, just before we start, we still keep putting your name and location in the chat box. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to introduce today's facilitator. And after I do that, and then I'm going to talk about. But before I do that, I'm just going to say this webinar on meta-analysis and its role in transforming Nigeria's just transition through informed decision making, brought to you by ERALab, and we have the facilitator, Mr. Caleb Ogechi, and he is a public health nutritionist and expert researcher. And Mr. Caleb has been collaborating with ERALab across multiple projects, and then we coordinated this event, and we're going to also be having several other series on that brings experts into the to have conversations and also give talks and trainings on how to use all of these tools, because the goal and the mission of ERALab is to try and create more informed decision making, and all of this deals with data, right? And then meta-analysis is that one too. So having given that short background, I'm just going to introduce Mr. Caleb. Raphael Caleb Ogechi is a public health nutritionist whose background spans clinical practice, research, consultancy, and data management. So he has strong expertise in epidemiological methods, particularly in systematic reviews, of which I've witnessed meta-analysis, and with research addressing key public health issues in Nigeria, such as overweight, prevalence of obesity, and also recently arsenic contamination of water sources. So Mr. Caleb works across so many fields related to public health. And he combines his technical foundation with practical experience in system evaluation and also program management. So he provides clear evidence-based insights and step-by-step guidance in translating research into real-world public health solutions. So, and without further ado, I'll just say everyone to give Mr. Caleb thumbs up and also likes. And I'm going to just stop sharing my screen and then introduce Mr. Caleb so he can continue. Thank you. We'd like to see more of that. Okay. Welcome, Dr. Miracle. And Caleb, can you try and share your screen?
Hello, I don't know if you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. The host of this program has introduced me. My name is Caleb Raphael Caleb Ogechi, and I'll be facilitating this event. I don't know if you can see my slideshow now.
Yes. Yes.
Can you guys see my slideshow? Okay. So the theme of this event is meta-analysis and its role in transforming Nigeria. So just transition through informed decision making. Out of this theme, I took this topic to focus my attention mainly in systematic review and meta-analysis. And I've already been talked about. I've already told you my name, and I have my background in nutrition. So without further ado, and I will spend so much time waiting for people to join. So I will start. Systematic review and meta-analysis play a crucial role in informing decision processes, particularly in the clinical health and allied sciences, even to organizational endeavors, down to national and social policies. So some people might say, I'm not in clinical health, but if you are in an organization and have experience working or delivering projects and all the rest, you will know how systematic review is. is important in delivering some project, and at the national level it plays a high role. Even in research, it is the highest level of research. That's one of the reasons why we are focusing on it. What is the strength of these two types of research, systematic review and meta-analysis? The methodology rigor used in synthesizing the research itself is what makes it superior. And some research, you will see some bias and here and there, but in meta-analysis and systematic review, there is a framework, a method by which those bias are reduced and minimized or controlled. And they produce reliable evidence that can guide policy and program. Because if policies that are relevant to citizens are not made based on evidence, you know that is out of political and analytical views. So it must be based on evidence. If it must be reliable. Someone might say, a curious mind might say, why do we even conduct research? If you're in the academic field, they will tell you publish or perish. And maybe that's true. That might be the reason why people conduct research. But in the essence, we conduct research to generate systematic, reliable, and verifiable knowledge. I remember back then in school, I asked one of my lecturer a question, and the lecturer was like, what is your source? So I was like, no, I don't have any source. Fortunately and unfortunately, the next day, another time, that lecturer made a statement in class. Someone raised her hand and says, please, sir, what is your source? So through research, we make verifiable knowledge. We don't just make assumptions. So through research, we deepen evidence, provide understanding, and solve problems that advance our human life. So in essence, research transforms curiosity into evidence insight. So you're curious about something, a research is done about it, so it gives it an evidence-based insight. It wouldn't be just mere assumption. There are types of research. You might hear qualitative, quantitative, and cross-sectional, descriptive, and all the rest. But the types of research are grouped based on this, the purpose or aim of the research. You might see, you will hear, if it's based on purpose or aim, you can hear operational research, you can hear evaluation research. Another way the types of research is based on nature of data or methodology. That's where we now say quantitative, you are measuring numerical variables; qualitative, you are measuring qualitative data. And then design. So there might be different design that differentiate from one research to another. Timing, you see longitudinal, you see cross-sectional. So that kind of grouping is based on timing. Now, control variable, you see, that's where you hear control case study and uncontrolled type of study. Another one is based on inferences or logic. You can make deductive inferences from a particular research or deduce something. But the major one we are focusing on now is 7, which is level of evidence. I will be showing us the pyramid of research. When you look at the pyramid of research evidence, you see that anywhere you see it, you see that mostly systematic review and meta-analysis are usually at the top or the tip of the pyramid. So that is, and that's from with that pyramid, research are described based on the highest and lowest. So in all research, systematic review and meta-analysis are the highest level of research that can be done based on evidence. So another thing is environment and settings. That's where you see laboratory result, research, field research, clinical and or community-based research. So this is that pyramid of research I was talking about. So if you look at it, you will see where systematic review. This is kind of qualitative information, classification of information itself. You see that those in the clinical or health sector, you see that, for instance, severe acute malnutrition, there is a guideline for managing it. There's a guideline for managing it. Someone might be like, For example, if you see where case series are, or if you see another pyramid, you will see expert opinion. You see that expert opinion is at the least, despite that the person is an expert, but the opinion is down, because why this person's opinion, there might be certain bias that are affecting it, but in systematic review, all those bias are being controlled. I will show us how these things are being done. So let's move forward. Why do we say that systematic review affect policy? If you look at the title, I say role or superiority attribute of in bringing about policy. So this evidence is the information produced by systematic review are usually evidence-based through comprehensive synthesis. So in systematic review, we are not just looking at one study, we are looking at multiple studies of what works, for whom it works, or under what condition. Now, also we can use a systematic review to decide on resource allocation. Every resource seems to be limited at it. Nothing is totally available in Essex. So through, for instance, let's say in national funding or something like that, let's say a program is being designed to reduce maternal mortality. Let's say maternal mortality have been found to be high, and a study is done. What is the major cause of maternal mortality? Someone who might have known someone that died during pregnancy or delivery due to acute kidney disease might be biased because he or she knows someone that died because of acute kidney disease. But when a systematic review is done, you might now see that at the early stage, preeclampsia or eclampsia causes more death and maternal mortality than acute kidney disease. You can see anemia at the top. You can see some other factors at the top more than the acute kidney disease. So in that essence, the best programmatic decision that should be made is to tackle some of those, the most common factors that are affecting maternal mortality, if we actually want to reduce maternal mortality. So if due to bias we address acute kidney disease, we are wasting the fund. So that's where systematic review comes in, because during that systematic review, you gather all studies that talked about maternal mortality. What was the case? What resulted to the death of a pregnant woman or after delivery? So what caused it? So with that, we gather everything together and find out what is the most common factor. Standardization of guidelines. If you see that pyramid I showed earlier on, you see that guideline is at the top while systematic review is down. So most of these guidelines that we see that are used in health and programs, they are being decided by systematic review, because data are being gathered to make recommendation consistent across board. Identification of knowledge. I don't want to spend so much time on here because I want us to go to the practical, whereby we will do database search, see how this thing is being carried out. I have many things to present to us, and I didn't even look my time before I start. So please, moderator, please keep me informed on timing, please. I hope I'm heard. Hello?
Yes, very much.
Okay.
Yes.
So identification of knowledge gap. We see that when we do systematic, when we review, if you are from my contact, I made a statement that you don't need to start your PhD program before you learn how to do review. You see, when people are doing PhD program, most time they do review to validate the project they are working on, or something like to identify gaps or knowledge gaps in the area their research they want to address. So these also help to find knowledge gaps or places, areas or around the topic where information are inconsistent or sufficient. Program evaluation and improvement, it also comes there. Strengthening public accountability, that's where it comes in decision making, public decision making, decisions that affect the public, global or regional harmonization. So what Mr. A found in this country and someone in B found it, so we could say that, okay, let's say we do a global level of systematic review and the information are being relating. So we could say, okay, this is what is found across board. In essence, systematic review and meta-analysis transforms fragmented scientific findings into coherent, actionable insights that bridge the gap between research and policy. By doing so, they enable evidence-informed decision and promote efficiency, equity, and sustainability in public policy. There are types of review, you know, meta-analysis and this and they fall under review. There are types of review study. So I will talk about this. You see the yellow ones that I highlighted, that is the two major ones. And if you see the markings, you'll see that under quantitative is only systematic and the meta-analysis that will tick, or probably mixed method. That is, in that sense, meta-analysis or systematic review was present. So how do we decide? How can you decide to carry out a systematic review? Yes, we are talking about systematic review, but how do you decide? So let's say you want to address a topic. Let's say I was talking about maternal mortality. Is there any pre-existing systematic review in the literature? You search. Is there any systematic review on that topic? Yes. Is it recent? Let's say between 5 years or less, yes, you move towards your right-hand side, you move towards here. But if it's no, any review or protocol registered in Prospero, that's you check Prospero or Cochrane to see if there is any undergoing study that have been registered there. If no, any available primary study, you do your literature search to find, can you do a review in this topic? Are there primary studies enough to address this topic? If yes, why not conduct another systematic review? So with this, you decide. And if we are going through the right-hand side, if yes, is the review decent on methodological or is the quality enough? Is the quality enough? That's I will tell us how we control quality of a study. There are criteria that when you met, yes, we are talking about review. We are talking about review, but review, if just in Nigeria, they will say review pass review. So a study is can be more than the other study. It depends on the rigor, the methodological rigor that the authors followed. So if the methodology used is the review of decent methodological quality, if no, you move here or move here. So let's not waste much of our time here. Some of this material will be shared for you to take your time later on and go through it. I would want to leave this. I want to leave this so that we'll head to the practical session. But if I would just spend some time on it, systematic review. We've talked about in our discussion. We have seemed to have merged systematic review and meta-analysis. Let's differentiate them. If in systematic review, you seek to answer a clear, defined research question formulated using a pre-existing framework. So what actually differentiates systematic review and meta-analysis with other studies is that there is a framework you are using. Each step, there is a framework you're using. I will share some information regarding that here. Each stage, there is a framework you're using. For instance, if you are deciding for your research question, example of a framework to use is PICO. There are framework around deciding your research question. So and the next thing is that it follows a standard or published method. That's the framework is the standard. You might have heard of Prisma checklist. You follow a standard or published methodology. That's you're modeling another study that have been published by a reputable journal. Another thing is it is comprehensive and exhaustive searching is required. A comprehensive and exhaustive searching is required to find all scholarly research on the topic. You follow a systematic method. And one thing you have to focus on in any of these studies, in these both studies, reproducibility. So you must follow a system that when anybody follows that system exactly as it is, the person should arrive at the same result with you. That's why from the name you are seeing systematic. So there is a system you have to follow. So you conducted in an unbiased or reproducive manner, which I just mentioned now, must include critical appraisal. You appraise the literature you are using, the primary studies, the quality, you assess the quality. We'll do some of these things, you see it. And then literature is synthesized in both narrative and tabular format. I wouldn't say this typically takes 12 to it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. If you have a team that is ready to put in the work, you can do it. So this is not a cast on. So 12 or so 18 months is so much to get it done. Meta-analysis should follow the same method as systematic review. However, literature is synthesized using a statistical technique for combining findings from different studies. You are using a statistical method or software to evaluate your objective and summarize your result. Reason is this: to increase statistical power, improve your precision, answer questions not posed by primary studies, so you can make certain inferences with this data that you are getting in meta-analysis. Let's enter this now, the practical section. I would like us to do it, but I don't want this section to be just theory. No, let it be the benefit you had is that you see these things being done, because when you see it being done, you are likely to do it yourself and remember what was said. So in the step of practical, for you to conduct a systematic review, you develop your research question. You must have done your preliminary research, and then you decide, okay, I want to address the causes of maternal mortality in Nigeria. So you do your preliminary research. Is there any, you see that chart I showed previously, the decisions you are making. You are not just making those decisions off your head. You are doing those things through searching. So you do your preliminary research with reference to your question. When you do your preliminary search, you now do the systematic search. You review your data. Quality, you assess the quality of the primary study, you extract your data and write and present. So so these the steps of the practical session will be taken. I would not take part. Hello?
Yes, sorry, just to ask one question. You mentioned something about preliminary search and systematic search. Can you throw more light?
Yeah.
What is like the difference? Then we'll move on.
Okay, the preliminary search is, when I showed this chart, This is where you're doing your preliminary search. Let's say you want to address a question, a research, that's you've already decided, okay, I want to talk about the causes of maternal mortality in Nigeria or in Africa. So when you are doing your preliminary research is at this point, you search, is there any systematic review in literature on this topic? If yes, you check what you're searching. Is the recent publications less than 5 years or less or more? You understand? So this decision, that's what you're searching on the internet. And that is what I refer as your preliminary search. Why the systematic search now becomes when you now do your search on the database where you are collecting those other primary studies you'll be synthesizing for your work. I hope that's clear.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so in this our practical session, we'll be using PubMed, we'll be using Prisma checklist, and Prisma flow diagram. So take
Is
note
it,
of this
is it,
point.
yeah, sorry. So, do you have a pre-planned research question prior to this, or
Yes,
okay?
yes, yes. So for emphasis, when you check on my LinkedIn profile, you will see a study that I post, the prevalence of overweight and obesity in Nigeria. So I want to use it as a common one for us to talk and for us to use. So this is the paper. This is the paper. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
So while I'm using this study, the other review studies I've done, but I don't want to talk about the one unpublished or the one I did for someone else. That one is business and work. So I don't want to talk about. So I want to use the one that you can find online and read yourself and see exactly what was done. And I'm part of this study. So let's head over to um, PubMed. So looking at this, I would skip research question and preliminary research. We will start from concept. So I said we will be using what is it called? Sorry, uh, prevalence of overweight and obesity, right?
Yes.
Another thing is this. Most times, I know some of us would ask, "Can't someone use AI?" I would also talk about that one. Can someone use AI to assist in research? What I'm actually doing the manual one is this. There is a difference between someone that knows how to code and someone that is doing vibe coding. Someone that really know how to code is superior to someone that vibe codes, because most times someone that vibe codes might not even know what he or she is doing at the end. So, but if you know some of these foundations, you can do it, you can tweak, you can do whatever that is in research. Because one of the reasons why some of us are not doing systematic review or meta-analysis is that because it's not really being talked about. No, you hardly find a video that will tell you everything that you need to see or know. Even though, even in some of this, I skip some things because there are types of systematic review, there are types of meta-analysis. There are types of framework and there are types of framework. But when we do some of this, mainly the search part, you can follow the Prisma checklist and get a particular study done. It's not really a rocket science. So if I'm to start from key concept, let's say key concept, we are talking about prevalence, prevalence of obesity, overweight, and obesity in Nigeria. In Nigeria. So okay, probably I will copy the topic as it is. Let me copy the title as it is. No, not here. Let me copy it as it is. So in this place, we could see there are concepts, notes in your doing your side. There are concepts, there are concepts, there are mesh terms. So first of all, let's put our concept. So the concept are the major terms here now. There is prevalence, there is overweight, there is obesity, there is Nigeria, and there is population-based studies. So this is concept one. Let's do it like this. Sorry, I'm running because of time. Great.
Also, if anyone has questions, you can leave in the chat box and he will address them at the end. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for that. Yeah. So concept one, concept two, concept three, concept four, concept five. right? These are the major keywords on this thing. So looking at our this thing, the next thing after concept is keywords. This is concepts. We've addressed that. The next thing is keyword. So if you read research, you will see something like, you will say that different authors use different words. Some could say prevalence of obesity, risk of obesity. That's synonyms. Keywords are there's the synonyms of these concepts. Some key synonymous words to this prevalence. You could see burden. What again? Can someone suggest for me? You can unlock your mind and make suggestions. So there is a prevalence. There is a burden. What again? What again? Epidemiology. What again? Can anyone remind me? Cross-sectional. Cross-sectional.
Just
What
looking.
again?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just use this based on its
Based
practical.
on
So
yes.
in obesity, the key words that are synonym to obesity. Oh, sorry, overweight. Okay, excess adiposity, excessive adiposity. What again?
Obesity.
Body, BM. Yeah, overweight. Overweight is what I'm addressing now.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Greater than 25 um, kilogram
Kilogram.
per
Oh,
meter square. What again? Okay, we could say excessive body weight. As different authors are using different words, right? So that's what we are trying to capture, because when you read different papers, you see the same term can be addressed by different words, by different authors. So the next thing is excessive. I've said excessive adiposity, excessive, okay, body weight, sorry about that. Excessive BMI. So we come to obesity. Let's leave this one for obesity now. Let's leave overweight or obesity. Keywords. We write obesity first. You could see excessive adiposity could still come in here. Adiposity. Central obesity. Excessive. Okay. Let's use this. 30. What again? Okay, let's stop here. Nigeria is Nigeria. Nigeria is Nigeria, keywords. But there is something I do at the personal level. I get a list of all the states in Nigeria, because someone can do prevalence of obesity in other states, right? It's still a primary study, because what we are doing is a systematic review for Nigeria. So these ones now are individual primary studies at the state level. So what I usually do is to get all the states. I think I wrote that somewhere here. This is another study. So I copy it. Come back to our main listing. I paste it. So the last thing is a population-based study. We could say cross-sectional, what again? What again? Okay, let's say adults or something like that. Okay, let's stop there for now. I know why I said let's stop there. We'll still address that later. So the next thing is mesh term. When we look at this, we've gotten some keywords, few keywords, concept. We've developed our concept. The next thing is mesh term, medical subject heading. There are some databases. For instance, we are using PubMed as a database. There are certain databases that use what we call mesh term. Mesh term is also in relation to, like these ones now, we are getting it based on our knowledge, right? But in per database, there are some key terms, not the word, medical subject headings. Medical subject heading, different authors use different words to address different terms. And in different databases, some things can be indexed. Some studies are indexed in such a way that some of those words are being transmitted across such studies. So using concept or keyword is not enough. The concept is not enough. You also add mesh term. I will show us how to get mesh term. Mesh term, you don't just generate it off head. You use from the database. So this is PubMed that we'll be using. When you come here, you go a little bit and open in another window. This is where you get your mesh term. So when you see, you could see mesh here, you could see mesh here. So there are other things you could search. Okay, the first thing we're addressing is prevalence. So let's click prevalence. Let's search. So these are some other ways that are associated, that could be associated with prevalence. You saw when I wrote cross-sectional. So these are some things that are related to prevalence. So let's clean this. So let's click on prevalence. Let's click on prevalence. It loads. So in this database, PubMed, we know PubMed as a popular database, US based. So the word prevalence was first introduced in 1990 in this indexed in this database. So the other things you can control from this database. For instance, we can restrict to search mesh this major word, the major mesh terms related to prevalence. Excuse me. See, you could see some other entry terms that are also associated with it. So we can also click do not include mesh terms found below it. Let me explain what that means. For instance, this is a tree word that where prevalence falls. Let's say in this word now we are searching epidemiological method. You see that there are other words that are below it, right? Though in this one now prevalence seems to be the last in all the trees. But if for instance we are using epidemiological method and we come here and click this, do not include mesh terms found below it, we'll see that when it is searching, it will not go beyond this epidemiological method. It will not search data collection, vital statistics, morbidity, prevalence. It will not search it. So how do we, so prevalence is one of the key terms we are searching. So we want, as we are doing the search, the database will search other key terms that are related to prevalence to give us what we want. So you come here, you can see where my cursor is, add to search builder. You come here and click add to search builder. You copy it. Remember, in this search we are doing, we are writing everything we are doing. Why it is so is that this is a systematic study, and you need to keep track of what you are doing, because the key thing in this study is that it should be reproducible. It should be reproducible in such a way that anybody that could do these steps from A to Z will still get the same answer as you did. So in the first concept, which is prevalence, we come and add our mesh term. So the mesh term we are using, remember we copied it, so we pressed it here. So let's check for boarding. Let's check for boarding. Let's check for boarding. You could see studies that will say burden of overweight in so population and all the rest. So these are related terms to burden. So which one do we think that is related to the one we are talking about now? We see, okay, let's click on, okay, let's click on body. Let's click on it. Body. What was it described as? The total amount of chemical, metallic, radioactive. No, this is not what we are looking for. So let's use another one. Epidemiology. I know we've not searched risk. We'll search that later. Let's search epidemiology. So we click on epidemiology. The first one, epidemiology, says field concerned with determination of causes, incident characteristics, or behaviors. Okay. The second one says use with human and veterinary diseases. No, we are choosing the first one. We're choosing the first one. So the first, imagine it was introduced in November 2024. So we could see after epidemiology, there are other terms below it. So we come here, we clean this, and add it to our search, and copy, go back to our worksheet. And paste it. So this is what you could do with other words, right? Other words. But to make things faster, let me just go on with this. So risk. Sorry, I still have epidemiology here. I want to delete it. So I add risk here. And copy. Come here and put it. So the same thing, you do it for overweight, you do it for obesity and all the rest. Now, we are in the era of AI, so you can use a ChatGPT to fasten this up. So I guess I wrote something like that. So let's use AI to assist ourselves and be faster. So you can see what I type. I'm carrying out a systematic review on I'm carrying out a systematic review study here. Here I listed some key concepts. So if you type something like this, and paste it in ChatGPT, it will give you a list, a very numerous list that you now decide and choose. For instance, this was by output. For instance, prevalence, you could see synonyms or keywords. These are mesh terms, overweight, and all the rest. This is how it is. Now, the next thing we have here is, after getting your mesh terms, the next thing you do is to add your truncation. Why I'm teaching you some of these things is that's why I mentioned the quality or the methodological rigor that you apply when you are doing your own study. So if some of these things you don't do it, someone who is experienced in it could grade your paper and say, okay, this has some of these limitations, but because how the quality of your study, the method you use also determines the quality of the study. So let me show us what truncation means. Truncation, you apply it in words that are more up to 4 or more. So these are the output that AI gave us. So prevalence, there's no plural for prevalence, but someone can say prevalent. I don't know if someone can, but so as not to take chances, when we get here, we remove this CE and put star, right? Someone could say occurrence 6, right? So so as not to take chances, we put star. This is what we call truncation. So rate is just 4 words. So instead of putting truncation, we could put rates. Distribution, someone could say distributions. So as not to take chances, we put star. So what we are doing is we are truncating the terms, right? So that's truncation. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
So let
clearly.
it not be I'm talking. Okay.
Yeah, we can
So
hear
if
you.
you have question, you can drop it at the chat this thing, so we can talk about it as soon as possible. So burdens, someone could say burdens. So what we are doing now is putting truncation. So we do same overweight, excess body weight, excess body weight. Okay. Someone can put X at E, so authors can have different views. Increased body weight. Someone could say increased body weight. So we never can tell. Elevated BMI. In there, someone could say indices. So we don't want to. Okay, this one is just less than 3. We could probably type it ourselves. Please, if noise is in your background, please help us mute your mic. And this is something like that. Excessive adiposity. I'll leave these ones like this. So, excessive body fat. Remember, that word is less than 4. So that's why I had to repeat it. No, I'm removing this.
Well, I want to ask question. Do you put truncations on words that are more than 4 letter words, or
That
less
is
than 4 letters?
that is what I'm saying. If the word is up to 4, more than 4 letters, you truncate. But if it's
Okay.
4 or less than it, you have to repeat it, right?
Okay.
So someone could say weight disorders. So we truncate it. Someone could say weight gains, we truncate it. So I guess I'm using more words, but why I'm doing this is so that when I know that I met all the criteria, right? Someone could say, okay, central obesity, that's right. Abdominal obesity, visceral obesity, let's leave those ones as they are. Nigeria, let's, okay, conceptual population-based study. So someone could say population-based studies. So we capture that. Someone could say surveys. So we capture that. You could also do that one here. Okay. Studies.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Sunday. Can you mute yourself? Thank you.
Mr. Sunday. Okay, so someone could say studies. So why we are doing this is so that we could capture all possibilities. All possibilities. I will remove national surveys. I don't need it. I don't need it. So I put truncation. So this star we are putting here, we call it truncation. You're truncating it to capture all possibilities based on different words that are not used. So that's it. So the next thing we have here is after truncation, what the next thing is field tag. Field tag. You put this tag here, test word. Test word. That's if that word is captured within the test. Or this one, if that word is captured within the title of the paper or the abstract of it. So probably let's use test word first. I think I mixed something which I want to add. Quotation. You put quotation. You put quotes. Quotes. Words that are more than two. Words that are more than two. Where is what we are using? So words that are more than two, you put them inside quotes. Like this one now, a search, because if you put them one, it will affect your search. So because they are just one word, you put them inside quotes. Remember, the truncation should be inside this thing. Excuse me. Give me a minute, please.
All right. Okay. While we wait, we can also just give a thumbs up. If you have any comments, you can leave in the chat. And if you have also any questions, suggestions, or follow-up that you might need, you can also drop in the chat while we wait for him to just grace us back.
So I'm back. So the truncate, you see how I put the quote, right? Is covering the truncation. You are not to put it here. You are not to put it outside the truncation. Rather, it should cover the truncation, right? So, and you're putting quotes in words that are more than one. In words that are more than one. So I guess I use much keywords. I use much keywords. Let me reduce it because of time. So we are leaving BMI as it is. SS for the fat. I'm trying to look if there are words that are repeated that is in overweight, and we repeated them in obesity. So I'm removing this. So some authors could refer obesity as a weight disorder in their paper. So obese individuals, fatness, central obesity, abdominal obesity, sorry, visceral obesity. That is it. So we do the same here. I want to reduce, no, I was thinking of reducing this because of time. Okay, let's reduce it because of our time. I hope we are following, please.
Yes, yes. Also, for everyone, this is being recorded and will be made available on the YouTube channel and across all social media. So you can also use this. Most of us here are doing our masters and PhD, or even in independent research. You can always use this to look back and see the exact steps it's following. So yes.
But I would suggest you stay on the call and see how everything is being done, so that you know there is a reason why this type of study is mostly not talked about in your school. There is a reason why it's not being talked about, because of how rigorous it is. That's why it's mostly not talked about. And even the person that is teaching you might not have that patience to tell you everything how it is. That's why I'm taking the time to follow these steps and show you how it is being done. Because if I say it all theory, you might not have the time to do it yourself. So we've put quotes. The next thing is field tag. Field tag. So instead of a title or abstract, I will choose test word. So you put it here. Put it here. So what this means is that if this word is found in the study, right? So you can change it as much as you want. You can change it as much as you want to fit into your study. So if you think that text word gave you more than you want, you could decide to use the tag that is TIB, that's on title or on the abstract of the study. So you put this at the end of each and every one of them. I wish, oh, so sorry. I was doing it at the wrong one. I think I'll remove this. Only this. So So if you put all this at the end of your search words, observe where I'm putting it is outside the quotes. Outside the quotes. Is truncation that is in the quotes, while this one is outside the quotes, right? So observe where I'm putting it so that you don't put it inside the quote. It will be searched as part of the word. So that's it. I know I would have done this before coming, but I want us to do it together. It would have saved me more time, saved us more time to run. But I'm still happy that we are doing it together.
Yeah, at least it shows the average time that it would reasonably take to get to this stage as it's live.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we don't do it together, you might easily forget it. Someone might easily forget, okay, this is also involved. So that is it. The next thing is we've put quotes, we've put tags. You incorporate Boolean operators. That's when we talk of Boolean operators, you
Sorry,
know how.
can you highlight them in green after you so that the ones
Okay.
that will come. Okay. Yes, the call is being recorded. But might be good to stay on the call.
So you put the or. Note where I'm putting the Boolean or, right? You put it, for instance, this one is a keyword. We will now remove the comma. We now remove the comma. We remove the comma. This, in your mesh term, you also put, remove this. That's it. So So this is it. I already have the Nigerian this thing waiting, right? So now the next thing is for us to do the individual search. So one thing you're going to do with this mesh term is you add them to the keywords. You add them to the keywords with all as well. You add them. You add them there because you are going to search them together. So you copy it, add with the Boolean term all. Oh, I skip this one. So
Please, I'm not
we
seeing
add.
your screen.
You can't see my
I
screen?
can't see your screen. Yes,
Uh,
Is that how
even
it is with
Okechukwu
you?
Sunday.
yeah, I can see your
Yes.
screen, but some people cannot see. Can you just pause on share and maybe share again? And let's see if that fixes. Well, I
Okay.
can see the screen. Yes.
Yes, let me do that.
And thank everyone that has been joining. At the end of the session, we'll be talking about an opportunity that would arise from this. So if we stay till the end, some of us who are here would get an opportunity to actually put this in practice. So we're not just going to have this as a session. We're going to have this hands-on, and hopefully should
So
lead
can you
to.
guys see my screen now?
Please confirm.
No, I can't see it. No,
You can't
I
I
see
can't
it?
see it.
I can see your
Can you
screen.
No, I cannot see it.
find me as one of the participants? Okay, Chuku can see me now. Can you see me as one of the participants on your screen? You click on myself. Just click here. Just click on me.
Yes, I think peace might be
Can
a
you see?
network. Can you leave and join again? Just try and join the group.
Oh,
Yeah, just see if that works.
okay.
Please just
Okay.
join again. Yes, you will see us.
Okay.
I hope
Yeah,
you don't miss something important.
yeah, well, we can continue.
So we are now joining the mesh term with the keywords. So Nigeria has already been, I guess I skip this one. So we copy this, paste it here. Oh. So we will now go ahead and do the search. So there's one thing we are going to do. You see all these things we did it step by step. It's also encouraged that we do the search step by step. It will help you find your mistake by each word. Where if you have a mistake, you could detect where the mistake is. So let's go to our PubMed database. Our PubMed database. So the first thing we are searching is prevalence. We copy it. You could search by clicking on advanced from here. You could search from here, right? Or you could search from the other end. Let me show you. For instance, if we click search here, what we copied. So this is our result. Don't mind this large number. Don't mind it for now. Don't let it not fear you. You will see 9 million and you'll be like, will I have to review 9 million papers? So following the terms, boarding was not found. So probably we could remove boarding. We could remove boarding. So boarding was not found. Let's remove it. Where is it again? Okay, here. We remove it. That's why you need to search one by one. So if there is error in what you search, you could detect it, right? And fix it and repeat your search. Let's say there was a typo in one of those things. Do that same way it highlighted that thing, that's also how it will highlight this one. So you could see our result now came out without any error, right? So let me show, I want to show us an example of what I said with mesh term. Let's say, for instance, this study now is indexed in PubMed. You could see, if you come here, you could see mesh term. You could see mesh term, right? These are mesh terms. This paper is indexed. So if I search any of these mesh term individually now, this paper will have to appear, right? This paper will have to appear. This is the topic. So I'm just giving us an example to show you the relevance of that mesh term we addressed. So the next thing we are going to search is, we go back, we search this. Okay. We don't have any error on this one. We are good. We go back again and search this one. Search obesity. Click, search. We have error here. Excess body fat phrase is not indexed in here. So let's remove it. Excess body fats. Excess body fats. Where is it? Excess body fats.
You will see it
So,
after a deposit.
yes, I've seen it. I've removed it. So we repeat the search. I can repeat the search here or go back and still repeat the search here. So whichever one. So that's obesity we searched now. The next one is a population-based study. So we search this one. We search this one.
Yeah, if you have a question,
So,
please just leave your questions in the chat box, and we'll address
so
the question.
So the next thing we are to search is the Nigeria. So we search this. Sorry, I use this. Let's leave Nigeria. I use this in another database, so I don't have the time now to start going and checking the errors, right? So let's just search Nigeria and Nigeria, whichever one that comes out. So you say there should be other variations. So, but searching one is enough. So we search Nigeria. So this is it. So we now click advance. We now go to advance. You will see all the list of those searches we did. This is all those list of searches we did. So these are those ones that had error, right? These are those ones that had error. So we delete them. We delete. You know, we repeated them, right? So we delete them. So to now merge our search together, we could see hash 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So we now come, we could say hash 2, and remember the Boolean term we talked about, right? The first Boolean term we used for each of the keywords was or, but sorry, not here, but in merging different keywords, different concepts together, that's now when we use the Boolean and, right? This is now the time we use and. Remember, we've been using or. So at this point now, we merge them. So after this one, 3, and the next one is 5, 6, 7. Hash 5 and 6. Sorry. And 6 and hash 7. So we copy it, put it here, and do our final search. So at the end, we have a total of 450 studies, right? This is from, remember that chart I showed you, it said, is there a recent systematic review on this topic? Is it 5 years or less, right? So all these studies now, this our term now research gave us 450 results, right? So we could say, let's search about a decade, right? A decade, that should be 215, right? 215. Excuse me. What do we get? 3. You know, while I was talking about, I talked about some criteria you stipulate for yourself. So probably you might want to do 10-year period. We could say, okay, 300 is enough, it could be much. We now choose a criteria. Those that have full test. We've reduced it to 200, 205, right? We can work with this. And if you still have, you can still review the whole of it, the whole of this thing, the whole of 300. It's not much. You could start with the title. From the title, you decide anyone you want to select, you click on it. Let's say we are selecting this. We are selecting these ones here. So these are the ones we've selected, right? These are the ones. This is also another place where you decide, right? This is another place where you decide. So probably in this study, you want to address only case report or clinical studies or clinical trial, whichever one. These are also places where you control, you make you apply your selection criteria. We call it selection criteria, where you decide your selection criteria you want to use. So you could use this to streamline, to match your research goal. You understand? So you could say 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, whichever one is left for you. So if after going through each and every one of them, right, you see this one match, you go through it, read the abstract, it matched, you go for it and you download. So this is where you download. It's not here. This is a download button. It's not here. It's not here. You click here. So you download as CSV. As CSV, we know what CSV is, right? Is there anyone that doesn't know what CSV is? So CSV
No,
looks
I
like a
don't know.
cell. Okay, CSV looks like instead of for you, because now you're downloading this data, you're downloading the studies you've chosen. So CSV looks like Excel, but it's not Excel. One thing about CSV is that you cannot different sheet. You cannot work on different sheet in CSV, but you can work on different sheet in Excel and still save your work. If you do it in CSV, work on different sheet. After saving it, you see that what you worked on the other sheet are gone. So you download as CSV, right? You download. I decide where to download. So on ERALab.
Yeah, sorry. Have you did you select all 200 papers?
No, I didn't. I
Oh,
selected, I just click on the first seven. So
okay.
if I must, so you can review these papers and select the ones you want. So the more you read, the more you move downwards. You understand? Why I'm taking this time is that this same procedure that is also similar to any database you're searching. So at the end of this thing, I will request for email of all the attendees or those that signed up, and I will share you a list of free databases you can use, because there are databases that before you can use them, your school have to subscribe to their this in the database, or your organization, institution, whichever one, need to subscribe to them. But there are a list of databases you can use for free. PubMed is one of them. PubMed is one of them. So this is it. You download. I downloaded the file. Can you see my Excel sheet? Can you see it?
No, we're still
Okay. Okay. Yes, I shared only this window. Let me share
seeing.
that one. Let me stop sharing and share that one. Let me show you how it is. Give me a minute, please. So sorry, I have many things open on my screen and I'm trying to find. Okay. Let's share my entire screen. Okay, I hope you can see it now, right? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see your
So
screen.
those 7 studies papers I picked. You could see the list of authors, you could see the title, you could see the citation. So these papers now you have to now download them individually. I've taken much time. Let me just show us that same study. I'm using the same data of the previous study. If you look at that Excel file, you could see something like this. That study that is on my LinkedIn profile, you could see something like this. Something like this. If we okay, let's say let me save it as a PDF. Save as PDF. I want to show us something. I want to show us something to wrap it up. Yeah. Sorry, we've taken so much time. So I want to show us something. For instance, we are talking of obesity, right? Obesity. And in this study now, in this analysis, I group this region by region. So from this review study now, being that it is a large sum of data that was synthesized and with a stipulated criteria that was stated, so it's done as it should be done. So from this now, we can infer that, okay, from this study, this is the prevalence of obesity in Southeast, 15.73, right? Effect size, this is the regional score, right? So sub-regional score. So this is for Southeast, for South-South, 24.65, till you see the national data, the national value for the whole work we did for Nigeria, because it's a Nigerian population we took, but we later group it this way, right? So let me show you the data, the information we picked from the data we picked. So those, when we did the search was done, we picked the authors. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Oh, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so this is from the paper we selected. This is each author. You understand? We took the region category. Is it Southeast, Southwest, or whatever? This is the study type? Is it cross-sectional study or what? And this cross-sectional study we looked at all through. You get? It's cross-sectional studies. So this is the sample size of each of the study. This is the year of publication, prevalence of obesity, prevalence of overweight. As you could see, not all of them reported was on overweight, reported overweight prevalence. Some reported what is it called? Obesity, living overweight. So now we use them individually to analyze based on obesity data set, gender overweight, and gender overweight, right? So I think I'll be stopping here. The analysis, the meta is not something we would handle physically, but I want to show you what you could do if, and this is what I would say on myself. I didn't talk with the organizer of this. If as a health professional, you are in the health field and you could get your study to this extent, do your search, I think I'm forgetting something. I forgot to talk about this Prisma checklist. So someone could ask, what are the steps for a systematic review? Let's say you are doing a systematic review, and the Prisma, I talked about frameworks. Is Prisma framework that is mostly used that you are using. These are the steps, right? These are the steps. And when I was doing that search, you observe I was keeping record of what I was searching. So when you do your search, you don't just close your window, right? You don't just close your window. You keep record of how many papers you saw in your search, and you bring them back here in this Prisma diagram. We talked about Prisma diagram. You bring them here. How many databases did you search? Probably you search Embase as well. So you put a list of number of papers you found by database, right? You put them here, and this is how it is. If you just Google Prisma uh, Prisma diagram, why is this thing not selecting? So let's just click Prisma, sorry, Prisma diagram. You will get one that you can use for yourself, a fresh one. So when you check any of these things, you find a downloadable one here. You can find a downloadable one and check for yourself. Why this is a checklist. A checklist, you might be asking what are the steps to carry a systematic review. If you're using based on your research question and the Prisma is the framework you are using, you could see title, abstract, introduction. This is what you do at introduction, method, eligibility criteria, search strategy, which is what we did. Why I spend time on the searching is that searching is mainly the most problem that people have. If you could do the searching, you can do the study. And I was trying to say something. If you can do the searching, come at this stage, whereby what is left for is for you to do your meta-analysis. If you reach out to me, and I may like to collaborate with you. That's something I didn't discuss with the organizers, but this is an open window I can give to anyone. So we may collaborate with. So that's it. This is it from my end. Please, is there any question in the chat box, or you want to ask me a direct question so that I will answer you? We close here.
Okay, right. But before we even take the questions, I'd just like to say thank you very much, Caleb, for gracing us with your time, and not just your time, like taking the time to also first ground us on the theoretical underpinnings of why we should even do this in the first place and why it is relevant for the just transition, because everything is based on evidence. Otherwise, it will be either making false claims or misunderstandings. Then the other one, you also gave us the practical, like, go get into the whole thing that we're doing, how we can create the search strategy and also do the search itself. Right, so everyone, if you can just type and say thank you or give a thumbs up or a celebration. And while we're doing that, so for those who stayed, so the thing is we're going to be putting this up on YouTube and then making this available as well. Then I know some of us joined late and some of us had some technical issues and might have missed some key areas. So what will happen is that you would rewatch. The first thing you should do is to just rewatch this. You can watch it on speed of 1.2x, and that helps you to just quickly do this. Watch the video. And then for the collaboration that we talked about, for those who joined, we will send out an email. So you will look out for an email. We'll send the WhatsApp link, and then you will join the WhatsApp group. And what we're going to do is that Mr. Caleb has already said that he may volunteer his time depending on how what we do. So what we can do this in a practical way and have some of us assign a topic or something, and then you actually repeat the same search strategy, and Mr. Caleb can just observe what is happening and supervise it. Right, so he will just oversee. So we're going to send out emails regarding that. So that will be the next steps. Just look out in your emails. And for questions, right? First of all, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who joined and stayed. Can you choose to use only one database like PubMed, and when is it advisable to use just one or multiple? So is there like a pro and con of using just one, and is it good enough to get your problem statements out there?
Okay, no, it's not really good to use one database. There are multiple databases to use, because the particular journal that published the work might not really have, that work might not have been indexed in that database, right? So if you're using one database, I didn't talk about screening of data. One thing we do in screening of data is to check for works that appear multiple times. So that happens mostly when you search multiple databases or even in the same database. So when this happens, you have to search more databases. And that's also why I said I would demand for your email from the organizer and send you some materials that will help you. One of the things that you will see in that material is a list of free databases you can use. So it's right, you use multiple databases. There's Google Scholar search engine. There is Embase. Embase is not free, right? It's not free, but there are multiple of them that are free that I can give you the list of them. But one other thing I want to say is that this particular method we use in PubMed can be modeled across the databases. Though some databases have some little changes, but if you could grab, that's why I spend time on the practical, showing exactly the search of it. So if you understand this search, you can model it across other databases. Thank you.
All right, sorry, thank you so much. Someone say, can you?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Can we choose more than a decade?
Sure, you can choose more than a decade. I only chose a decade because I was trying to reduce the number of search. I was trying to show you that there are conditions you can set. There are different conditions you could set. For instance, in that chart I showed earlier on, you could see that the question was, can you, is there a study that is less than 5 years on it? Let's say it's a unique topic that there is no even 5 years systematic review on it. We could go for the long range as much as you cover the topic.
Okay. Yeah, just the final one. It says, God question says, how do we go about the screening? So after you do this, so how, like, would you screen them? Let's say you have multiple Excel sheets. How would you manage the screen? Would they screen each table on each and then make a general table? How would they do that?
Okay, thank you. This is an important question. I thank you for the person that asked it. In the screening process, for instance, you are trying to meet the objective of your study. For instance, now this example I showed, we are looking at the prevalence of obesity in Nigeria, right? In the screening process, what you're doing is to pick those information you need from those individual studies. You are picking them. What you're doing is to pick those information. That's what we call screening. You screen those papers, pick the ones that meet your this thing. Why there is also something I didn't talk about due to time. Another thing you do is bias quality appraisal of the study. You assess. There is there are certain, let me just show you this. Let me show you this. There is something like a checklist, a framework for doing that as well. Sorry, I was rushing. Let me show you this on a quick, something like JBI. Hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Something like JBI. So when you come here, this JBI, you can use it. This, if all your papers you're working on are analytical study, cross-sectional studies, case control studies, this is a list of it. So this is an AI period whereby AI is also helping to us to do some things, right? So these are certain questions you could ask. You can ask ChatGPT, give me a list of frameworks that are used in conducting a systematic review, a list of framework. Or you could pose your question, research question. Okay, like my question is, what is the prevalence of obesity and overweight in Nigeria among using cross-sectional studies, right? So if you ask this question in ChatGPT, ChatGPT will give you the framework to structure your question, the framework to do your search, how to do your systematic search, and how to the framework, the right framework to assess the quality of the study. So, and second thing is, when you are doing this type of study, you can, if you can do the tedious part of it, which is this search, you can get many people that will be willing to collaborate with you. Because the main challenge in systematic review, even why people don't talk about it, is the search process. Not everybody have the energy to do the search. You could see how much time we spend try to arrange our keywords, search, do mesh them, and all these things just to do the search. So if you can do the search, do this, invest the time to do the search, you can get many people that will be willing to collaborate with you and guide you. At least when you do your first study or work with a team, like ERALab has already given that opportunity. I promise you, if you put your time, you will know that systematic review is something possible. You don't need to wait till PhD to do it. Thank you. Over.
Thank you so much for that. And for those joining now, we're coming to the conclusion of this webinar series by Eden Resilience Action Lab. And just again, the whole point of the organization is just to promote research and using research to evidence policymaking and just transition. So just transition across several different fields. And then today we had Mr. Caleb going both through the theoretical aspects of meta-analysis and systematic review. And then what he did today was to take us through the search strategy. So how to formulate our keywords and how to clean them up and how to also search them and download, create search criteria and download the resources from different databases. And then Mr. Caleb, just so following this, the next thing, just a big thank you for joining us. And I know that you also promised to, like, if we have, so what we're going to send out an email, just a quick reminder, we'll send out an email with both the resources that he's mentioned and also with when the link is available for YouTube. We're also going to send out the link, but then we're going to send the link to the WhatsApp group. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to have a practical session where we're going to formulate a topic or a research question and follow these steps. And then once we do that, we'll have another session. Hopefully he can, while we're having that session, he can come online and then do the screening process if he is available and whenever time permits, so that others who would be joining in could also just come and simply watch the video of us doing the screening and then follow up. So again, thank you, Mr. Caleb, for the time. I'm sure everyone here would feel the same way. And those who had network issues, not to worry, the link will be made available. So I think in the next, if we don't have any more questions, we will be closing in a few minutes. Just if we can all just unmute or remove our mics, our cameras, and put on our cameras so we can just take a group picture at the end. You're still presenting.